Hello, I am Goose, and Mario Kart Tour is not the most enjoyed game in the series. Despite Nintendo considering it part of the mainline titles, a lot of Nintendo dorks prefer to consider it not mainline. I don't know what's going on in their heads. However, as we approach Mario Kart 8 turning a decade old, I think it's... Yeah, let that sink in for a second. Now that that's on the way, I've been noticing a lot of stuff Mario Kart Tour does that would really benefit any future console Mario Karts. If that's still in the cards, and they're not planning to release Mario Kart 8 Deluxe in 5 years for the next console. So let me tell you a little bit about 9.5 things that Mario Kart Tour has done better than the latest console release. Number 1. Remixed courses. This is probably the most prominent thing that could show up in the next Mario Kart. Taking a track and adding all sorts of nonsense to it would really increase the variety in courses, essentially doubling the course count, tripling it if you count the mirror tracks. Remixed courses absolutely need to be a part of the next Mario Kart, especially if they're more fine-tuned for higher difficulty races. Number 2. The item roulette. I love gambling! Having 3 item slots really makes it more exciting to collect these things, especially if you're in first place. In Mario Kart 8, and even in 8 Deluxe to a degree, if you get an item box, you're probably either going to get a coin or a banana peel, or both, which is not a particularly strong defense against people trying to whoop your ass. However, having 3 item slots gives you a little more of a chance to defend yourself. Maybe it could be something like a double item box, where it's separate from the singular item box. Though just adding a third box on top might make it a tad too tall. But I'm sure something could be done to work around that problem. To be honest, I mostly just want 3 item slots for the frenzy mechanic. Basically just giving you a lucky 7 and a star power for a little bit if you can somehow get 3 of the same item is a really fun mechanic to add to the already hectic, casual Mario Kart. And I think it's only fair to have a toggle for that sort of thing if you're a Mario Kart tryhard. Regardless, I'd really want to have that mechanic in the next game. Please, 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 I'm begging. Number 3. Rotating themed cups. This sort of thing could really add to the longevity of the game, at least in terms of players' interests. Sure, you could do just like a versus race and pick 4 tracks to do yourself, but I think if there was like a monthly themed cup with like a leaderboard to fight for, it could have an effect similar to Splatoon maybe, like the Splatfest, but maybe more often? Or less often. I have no idea how Splatoon really works. I think it would be cool to have like a rotating cup as its own separate mode. Probably exclusively online, which makes sense since like everyone would be participating. I don't know, I think it'd be cool. Number 4. Challenge courses. At the end of each cup in any given Mario Kart Tour, there'll be some sort of challenge for you to complete instead of a final race. This can range anywhere from starting in last place on lap 3 and needing to get to first, squashing tiny racers, beating one big racer, passing through rings, getting a certain amount of airtime, and so on and so forth. Obviously, that probably wouldn't go super well in the standard cups, and probably not even the rotating theme cups I just mentioned. But maybe they could be used for a separate challenge mode that could like grant you specific kart parts you could only get by beating those challenges, or coins. That's an even easier way to reward players. Alternatively, this could give Nintendo an excuse to go for the Mario Kart DS route and make another story mode, which I think would be pretty cool. Anywho, having more to do than just racing would benefit the game greatly. I mean, there's already battle modes, but still. Number 5. The combo meter. I honestly can't think of an objectively good reason to put the combo meter into Mario Kart console games. I just think it'd be neat. If you perform multiple combo-worthy actions in a short time frame, like boosting, hitting opponents with items, collecting coins, and doing tricks, it adds to your combo meter. In Mario Kart Tour, this adds to your total score for that cup, which you usually do to get to the top of the leaderboard for rewards. Maybe alongside a time trial mode, there could be a mode for getting as many points as possible. I can speak for the majority of people when I say that if there's one thing I like in a video game, it's a number going up and getting rewarded for it. So, yeah, put the combo meter in the game, maybe? Pretty please? Number 6. The ultimate roster. Mario Kart Tour, at least in terms of characters and kart selections, has the most choices of those 2 things in any games in the series. On top of every character and kart returning, they add a ton of characters that were never in the console titles in the first place, such as Kamek, Hammer Bro, Peachette, Dixie Kong, and other characters like that. And since they're basically porting those characters from Tour into the Booster Course Pass, it only makes sense to keep that mindset into the 9th installment in the series. If you already have the animations, it just comes down to slapping those animations on some higher fidelity models and then giving them some weight stats or whatever, right? I mean, I'm not a modeler, but how hard could it be? Why not go all out? The base roster for Mario Kart 8 is pitiful, and the DX game doesn't even have important characters like Diddy Kong or Pauline.
This part may or may not be outdated before this video comes out.
I can't see there being a downside to adding as many characters as they can, especially since they probably aren't as storage intensive as the actual racetracks. Just make Plessy playable, you cowards. Number 7. Unique items. Mario Kart Tour, despite being a fairly easy game, and when I say fairly I mean Rugrats easy, the items included in this game would make for an absolute hellfire in a console release. Seriously, some of this stuff is nightmarish. The bomb cannon, the coin box, the bubble, mushroom cannon, ice flower, banana barrels, dash ring, hammers, and even more stuff that they come up with and add over time. There are so many items that could be added to Mario Kart to further contribute to the destructive chaos this game already has. And Tour brings some incredible ideas to the table, which could potentially get added to the next console release. I hope. I can't really theorize, I just think it'd be cool. Number 8. Achievements. Mario Kart Tour has a unique set of achievement cards for each tour rotation, requiring you to collect or perform different actions a number of times for a reward of coins, or in-game currency. But forget the in-game currency. Add an achievement list to the next console game. Whether it be a static list, or one that rotates seasonally like the Online Cup, being rewarded for performing specific actions, well, similar to the challenge course that I mentioned earlier, could be another incentive to do these challenges. But I know what you're thinking. Or probably not thinking, but I'm going to say it anyways. Goose, what on earth are people supposed to do with all the coins they collect? From not only normal races, but challenge courses, completing achievements, and reaching the tops of leaderboards. Well, my dear viewer, that sounds weird. That brings me to my next suggestion. Number 9. A shop. I have no idea why this hasn't been done sooner, and it's probably my biggest hope for the next Mario Kart game. Carts, wheels, gliders, songs, characters. There's so much potential for what could be bought for all of the coins you collect. Reaching coin milestones like you do in Mario Kart 8 is fine and all, but I'd rather save up and spend those coins on stuff I want in the shop instead of having to wait to unlock a random wheel or cart body. And hey, if you empty the shop of everything it has, maybe it could reward you with the golden cart, wheels, and glider. That could also be a 100% completion reward, but either way it'd be cool. And finally, we come to my final suggestion for the next console release that Tour does splendidly. Number 10. Statless carts, or at least a toggle for them. If there's one thing I hate, it's not being able to choose a specific cart combination because it would be near impossible to win, due to its stats being so terrible. My brother, youtube.com/FrappeChan, go subscribe to him or whatever, always wants to make a monster truck in Mario Kart 8, but if he did, he'd just lose because the stats are horrible. I think it's cool that each cart piece has different stats that affect how the cart drives, but I think it kind of kills the simplicity of the older titles by adding an entire meta to the game. Suddenly, you don't ever see people playing certain characters because they're just not viable for winning races, and that's lame. You can keep the cart stats, just make them a toggle in the next game, so people can choose whatever cart design they want without compromising their gameplay. Okay, I think that's everything. Mario Kart is very near and dear to my heart, DS and Wii especially, but surprisingly, the game that people rag on the most seems to have the most to offer in new features for the next mainline console game. How ironic. At any rate, this is looking to be the end of the video. Thank you all very much for watching. Okay, it's time to shill. I've got my TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, I mean X, in the description. And I've got a Discord server, the link for which will be in the same place. Also, fan art. I say it every time, but if you want to see your art in this little gallery at the end of my videos, make sure to tag me in the social medias I mentioned, or post it to my Discord server. Okay, that's all from me. My name is Goose. I thank you very much for watching. And make sure to feed your skeleton today. He's getting very hungry. You don't want him to get cranky, do you? Okay, now go feed your skeleton. Get out of here.